Causes of cracks in concrete. What are the main type of cracks in the concrete? Cracking of concrete at the immature state. Cracking of concrete at its hardened state. How the cracking of concrete affect the durability of the structure. All those and much more will be discussed today. I am Prasad from Structural Guide. Please subscribe our YouTube channel. You may get the notification of new videos. Type of cracks in the concrete. Cracks in immature concrete. Cracks in hardened concrete. We can discuss under these two topics because these are two different states of the concrete. Immature concrete, it hasn't gained strength, but when it is hard, it has reached its required strength or its characteristic strength. Cracks in immature concrete. Why immature concrete get cracks? These can be discussed under two main categories. Plastic cracking. When the concrete is getting hardened, it is at the plastic stage. Therefore, these type of cracks we call the plastic stage cracking. Plastic shrinkage crack. Shrinkage movement of the concrete cause the cracks. Shrinkage is caused in the concrete with the moisture movements. So, moisture movement affect to the plastic shrinkage cracks. Plastic settlement cracks. Plastic settlement cracks also say moisture movement also could be one reason, and also with the reduction of volume of the concrete when it gets hardened also may be the one of the reasons. So each type of these cracks you have to discuss, you have to refer because these are connected with vast area. So you will refer the more literature on this for further for the better understanding. Today we are going to discuss we are going to provide you the overview on this type of cracks. You may get the basic idea, then you may need further study on each type for the better understanding. Another reason for the immature concrete cracking is the con- construction movement. Construction movement could be due to the movement of the formwork, movement of the subgrade. Properly fixed formwork has not or is not moving towards any direction. If it is not properly moved or if it is have a certain deflections, then there will be a concrete movement. So with that, there could be a chance of getting cracks in the concrete. Movement of the subgrade. Same as the formwork, subgrade of the foundation or the concrete where we place need to have a zero settlement. If it is settled, there will be issues. Or else the settlement should be uniform all over the place. Even this core, even that will be there is certain impact. Now, when you consider a thick concrete, you may doing the concrete from one end to another. So part of the concrete may be loaded heavily because that you feel part of the area and be move towards the other end by concrete pouring. So that also could be a reason tracking of different movement of the subway. Therefore, we have to be careful about especially in foundation construction, the ground or the soil or whatever the foundation is rested should have the minimum settlement. Reasons for cracking of hardened concrete. There are so many things to discuss under those we are going to discuss most important thing and we are going to provide you the overview on this type of cracks. What are the type of cracks and what are the key reasons for this cracking? Plastics, physical reasons for cracking of concrete. There are physical reasons for the cracking of concrete. Sinkable aggregate. There are some aggregate have shrinkage. Drying shrinkage in the concrete that also connected with the motion movement of the concrete. Crunching also one of the reason for the cracking of the concrete. The next we are going to discuss about chemical reactions for cracking of concrete. This also called the chemical attack of the concrete. Corrosion of the reinforcement. Corrosion could be due to the chemical attacks like chloride, sulfate, etc. So with that, reinforcement could corrode. Now, with, if the concrete is porous or there are smaller cracks in the concrete that have room to penetrate the moisture and the oxygen to the reinforcement, then the reinforcement start corroding. With the corrosion, the internal volume will be increases. The rust or the corrosive material will expand the concrete. With that, the concrete will get cracked, and spoiling of the concrete could also occur. Alkali silica reaction also another reason for cracking of the concrete. That's also the effect of the influence of the aggregate in the concrete. Cement carbonation shrinkage, that also another reason that cause cracking of the concrete. Thermal effects. Thermal effects on cracking of concrete. Freezing cycles. External reasons for temperature variations. External seasonal temperature variations. Now, when you design a structure for temperature movement, you have to consider the seasonal variations. Because now, when you consider an element like beam, it is under stress. It's under certain stress. The temperature movement in this loaded element could change the stresses in the concrete. That cause cracking if you haven't designed it for such a changes in the stresses. Early thermal contractions. Early thermal contraction also would occur in the concrete, but if you have designed it properly or provided the adequate reinforcement for such a movements, you could avoid this type of cracks. Cracking of concrete caused by the rise of the core temperature resulting from the delayed shrinkage formations. Now, when you have a very thick concrete like 1 meter, 2 meter, 3 meter, in those concretes, the core temperature will be increased with the heat of hydration. Heat of hydration will be higher in thick concretes. As a general norm, we maintain the core temperature around 70 degrees. This could vary depending on the type of cement and the additive you use. Now, if we are unable to maintain the temperature at that respective level, there may be chance of formation on the delayed ettringite. Formation of the delayed ettringite increase the internal volume of the concrete. With that, concrete could crack. Structural design issues that cause the cracking of the concrete. Accidental overload. Now, you may design a structure for certain load, but due to accidental reasons, the load will be increased. That could cause cracking of concrete. Cracking due to the creep. Concrete could crack due to the creep effects. So we have discussed this in a different video. Please refer that because the creep effect is a very important parameter to know when you do the design of concrete structures. So creep will cause the changes in the stresses and cause the excessive deflections that could lead to cracking of the concrete. Cracking due to the consideration of the incorrect design loads. If you haven't considered the correct design load, instead of the required load, if you have done a design for smaller load, there may be excessive deflection or maybe structural cracks, structural failures. As an initial warning, there may be cracks in the concrete with the increase of the load. Cracking due to the wrong construction practices that we previously also discussed on the physical reason, the other reasons that for the cracking at the immature concrete. So we have to have a correct construction practices. Now curing, one of the things that you have to concentrate on. If you are not doing proper curing, there may be cracks in the concrete that definitely affect the durability of the structure also. All in all, the concrete cracking is very important in terms of structural and the durability. Uh, if you talk about structural, initially this cracking will be considered as a warning. But if this crack width increases, there will be certain issues in structural stability. Structure could fail. So if you see these kind of cracks in like structural cracks, so you may have to take immediate actions. There may be bending crack, shear cracks, torsional crack, any other structural crack. You have to attend seriously and you have to take necessary actions. Other type of cracks that affect the durability also very important to note. Now, if it also could lead to structural failure, but mostly it could lead to serviceability issues. Therefore, durability again related to the structure, stability to the structure also. So therefore, we have to consider the structural cracks and the other type of serviceability cracks all together, and we have to take necessary measures to avoid this crack. This could avoid by taking necessary precautions during the design and construction. With that, we are going to end today's discussion. Today, we discuss about the cracking of concrete, what are the main reasons for cracking, how they cracks, and how do we they avoid, and why do we need to avoid. All these were discussed today. Let's meet again from new video. Thank you very much.